Hello everyone, this is Agus, and for today I'm gonna show you how to import your Excel files to Xero. For that, first we're gonna go to Xero and we are gonna log in even though we are already there. Then we are gonna go to Business option and Invoices. Once you're there, you're gonna see for this case we don't have any cells at all, so the purpose of today is actually put those cells. But then we need to look for this button that is import. There it's gonna take us to another page where it's gonna give us the steps on how to import our cells. The important thing here, since this is gonna be our first time, is that we need to download our invoice template. That is going to set up the rules on how we need to format our cell file from whichever software we use to able to be read by Xero. So we click on download. There we're going to open it with Excel and we're going to have it right here. So it's going to give us on the cell A1 all the information from every column that we need to have from our cell file, the original coming from our software. The thing here is that every name that says cell that has an asterisk star, those are the important ones that we need to have no matter what to be able to process all the information through Xero. So contact name, invoice number, invoice date, due date, description, quantity, unit amount, account code, tax type. All the other things we don't need to have them, but we need to leave the space because Xero is not gonna let you then, like we can do it with the bank statements, to change the information according to what we have. So for here, we're going to select A1. We're going to go to data. And on data, we're going to click on text to columns. That is going to open this wizard that is going to ask us how do we need to separate everything. We're going to give it this option, delimited. And then we're going to say that we need to separate everything in commas. And then below here it's going to show us how it will look after we finish with this. So we click next and then we click finish. So now we have all the categories separated in every column. In this way we can import to this Excel file all the information from our bills, and then from there we're going to take it to Xero. So the next step is to open from our files the cells. What we did is we imported from Garzón, in our case, every cell that we have for every single day. The way we're going to do it, because we are going to separate the cells according to the way we got paid, is that we need to duplicate certain information so that we have everything in a row, one after the other one. So for that, what we need to get is the date where we got the sale, and then the different categories as to where we got paid from. So our case, gotovina, card, checks, and representation. Everything else on this file we don't need. So what we're gonna do is gonna delete those ones so they don't bother us. The next step is, since we are working in Europe, in this case Serbia, and we don't use dots as separator for decimals, we use comma. Xero system doesn't recognize them like that, but as a code that it needs to pass to the next column. So what we need to do is to change that. For that, we're going to select everything that is numbers, and we're gonna go to home. In the format selections, we're gonna go to text. So it's gonna say like now everything here is text. It's not number. So it's not gonna go through the system of decimals that we have in our country. It's gonna go as everything is text. The next step is that we need to change every comma that we have on this file for a dot. To do that, we select everything again except the dates. Dates can stay the way they are. We do Control F, and then we're gonna go to replace. And in replace, we are gonna say is that we need to find every comma in the file, and we wanna replace it for every dot in the file. And then we click replace all. What it's gonna tell us that they found 85 different commas, and they've been replaced by dots. Then we close, and we should have everything here. So the next step is to copy this information to our future file that is gonna be here. So what we are gonna do next is that we need to put a contact name for the sales. The system that we're gonna use is that for every sale that is paid with cash, the name of the contact is gonna say Gotovina. For every sale that we made with card, the contact name is gonna be Platne Kartice, and so on and so forth. So we're gonna copy first the dates, so we have a guide to go through. We copy that, and we are gonna paste it on the invoice date without any format in particular, just the value. And for our case, invoice date and due date are gonna be the same date. Some other people may have other needs, but for us, this is the way it's gonna be. And now we have this guide. So these first rows until 63 are only gonna be for things paid in cash. So we go back to the other Excel. We select Gotovina B1. We're gonna copy that, and then on the other template we are gonna select in column A all the way until, in this case, A63, and we're gonna paste it, just the value. So this way it's gonna tell us that we have 62, without counting the first one, sales from the same contact, which is in this case Gotovina. Then we need to go towards right, and we says, okay, we need an invoice number. Since these are the first sales that we're gonna ever have for our company, we're gonna start with 1, 2, and 3. And then copy everything all the way down from the small square on the right, this one. So it's going to automatically follow up the number logic. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. Then we need to put a description, what it is that we sold. In our case, not to make things complicated, we are going to copy the contact name, which is Gotovina. Sorry, not there, but here. Then it's gonna ask us, according to what we sold, the quantity. So in every bill, so each one of these is a different invoice. How much did we sell, and for how much money? In our case, again, it's gonna be just one item per invoice. So we're gonna copy that and paste it all the way down, one invoice of each. And then the amount. For the amount, we're gonna go back to our sales file, the original one, and copy every value that we have under Gotovina. And we're gonna copy it here, just the value. As you see, you have some things in the left and some things in the right. That's because it's taking these numbers as numbers. So we need to change that again. We go to home, and in the format selection we're gonna go for text. Now everything is text. And just to have it not to be able to have mistakes in the future, we're gonna select the whole as column and change it to text. So that in theory, once we copy the new information, it's gonna stay this way. So then we have discount, we don't put anything. Account code, that we need to look to Xero to see how are we naming our accounts. So in Xero, we're gonna go to accounting and chart of accounts. I'm gonna open it in a different tab so that we keep this part here. So chart of accounts, and then you're gonna have a search bar to look for accounts that you actually need. So in our case, is sales, and it's gonna tell us cost of sales. We don't need those ones, but these ones, sales. So we have 40001 is Gotovina, 40002 cartridge, Birman representación. So this is the number that we need to put in Excel. So since all of these are Gotovina, the number that we're gonna put is 40001. We copy that all the way down. Then we need to put the tax type, which is a tax that Xero is going to say that all these bills have. In that case, we go back to Xero, we go to accounting and advanced, and then we're going to see tax rates here on the right. There is going to show us all the different taxes that we have on the system. The important ones for us are tax on sales and tax exempt for representación. The important thing is that we need to put this name correctly. So if we have a space, to put a space, we have just to copy exactly how it looks. So we go back to Excel. Tax type is going to be tax on sales. That's simple. We copy that all the way down. So we have the first part of the Excel, that is Gotovina. Now we're going to go to the second one, that is cartridge. So on the other Excel file, we copy first the dates. We need to repeat the dates because again we're gonna go below the cells of Gotovina. So we paste them there and in due date. Now we can do platne kartice and copy them all the way down until the last row with the dates. Then invoice number, we're gonna follow here the same path. So we select the previous three, and on the little green square we click, we hold it, and we go all the way down. We copy the numeration down. Then description, we're gonna use same thing, platne kartice, all the way down. Numbers of quantity, it's always 1. Then we need to put the money. For the money, we go again here on the other Excel. We copy all the cells and we paste it without the value, just the value stays there. If you see, everything is on the left. That means that there's no cell that Excel is taking as a number. Everything is text. Then we need to put the account. For that we go back to Xero and we go to check the chart of accounts, and I know that for Kartica is 4,000 and 2. See, cuts. So that's the one that we're gonna copy here. 40002. We copy that and we paste it. Sales tax is gonna be the same, and we set up there. Then Virman, which is checks, everything is in 0 in this case, so we don't need to copy. And then we follow the same steps with representation. We go back to the file, we copy the dates, but we need to remember that we started in January 1st. January 2nd, sorry. Not to copy everything again twice longer, so only one set of dates. Then we go back to the other Excel, we click on the name, and we are gonna put contact name there. We are gonna copy in the description part, we're gonna copy the number of items sold, then the invoice number, we are gonna take it so it continues from before, then the amount, we go back to the other Excel, we copy the items, we paste it there. Account number is 40004, that is for representation, so we copy it all the way down. And then here's the difference. So representation doesn't have taxes, so we put tax exempt, and that's the one we copy. There we go. This one is done, so we can close it. We don't need to save any changes, just in case we need to do something again. We have the source as it was. Then problem that we have now is that every single cell that doesn't have any information, it's empty. So once we create the CSV file, all those empty spaces is gonna get deleted and it's not gonna follow all these rows. So what we need to do is in A1 we do Control A, that is gonna select all the information according to the last column and the last row with data. Within that selection, we need to find every cell that is empty. For that, on Home, we're gonna go to Find and Select and go to Special. Then it's gonna open a window that is gonna ask you, where do you wanna go? We wanna go to every single cell that is empty. Do a click. So now every empty cell is selected. The next step is to replace that emptiness with information that in this case is not needed to be something written. So we're gonna put space. So every cell is gonna have a space. So we do Control Find. We go to Replace, and we're gonna replace nothing to space, and then we click Replace All. It's gonna take a bit longer because you need to find every single 3,720 cells, and it's replaced with space. So if we click in the middle and we do Control A, still it's gonna select everything because now everything has some information. Even if we don't see it, it's the space. So by selecting everything, we are gonna go to our tools, special tools called Q tools, and we're gonna go in range and cells and merge and split. There we're gonna choose the first option, combine rows, columns or cells, and it's gonna open a new window. That is this one. And then there is going to ask you how you want to combine everything. So our case is we need to combine everything, every column. And to specify when a column is changed, we're going to use other separator. and it's gonna be comma. So every time you have, this is a sample here, A, B, C, D, E. Now it's gonna take that in one cell, it's gonna be A, comma, B, comma, C, etc. We do that, we delete the contents of everything else, and we do apply. It's gonna work. We click OK. So now everything is here. So every single space that we put on the empty cells, it's gonna take it as that information is there. So it's gonna skip all of them. It's gonna give us the proper order. Everything is there. And now we can save this file. So we're gonna go to File, Save As, this PC. In this case, we're working in Promenada. So we're gonna look for Promenada. Then in the folder Xero files, we're gonna put cells since January, Promenada. And we need to make sure that the format is CSV, and we click Save. So now in theory everything should be ready to import. So we go back to the import your sales invoices. Step 1, we download it, we prepare everything. On the information, it clarifies that please has the date in this format or this one. The important thing that is day, month, year, and not month, date, year like the Americans have. Then we're gonna select which is the file that we're gonna import. So we go to Promenada, Xero files, and we're gonna go to sales since January. Then, yes, would you like us to update the contact address? No, we don't need any update because there's no address. And then, is the unit amount field tax inclusive or exclusive? It's asking if the amount of money that we put for every cell, it has tax that is already included in that amount or is outside of that. For our case, it's with the tax included. And then we click import. Now we wait because it has to go through all these ones. Once it's finished, let's say the imported file containing 186 invoices were imported to Xero. The good thing, we're gonna click here, import. The good thing about this is that it's gonna import everything as a draft, not the actual bill, just in case there is an issue and we need to make some corrections. When we're gonna go there, we're gonna see one of the bills, how it's gonna look, and then we're gonna approve all of them. So we have in draft all the bills that we just imported. We're gonna click on the first one just to see, and it's gonna tell us the client is Gotovina, that's the person we sold to. The date of the sale, 4th of March. Gotovina is the description. 1, the amount of money that we made that day, the account number, the sales tax, 20%, and the total. So since it's tax inclusive, from this total, it's gonna let us know that within that amount, we have this 35,728.5 dinars on tax. So we see that everything is correct and we are gonna approve. So now we know that that sale is done. We're gonna go back to here, invoices, and you're gonna see that we have this sale awaiting to be paid, but we need to go back to drafts. We are gonna go down and we wanna be able to see 200 items per page, so 200 invoices per page. We are gonna select everything when we click on this tick box. So it says 185 items are selected for a total amount of 18,996,440, and we're gonna approve all of them, because we know with the first one that everything is correct, even though I do suggest to check more than one just to be sure. And now it's gonna approve all of them. It's gonna take a bit. If you see, the screen is loading, and it's gonna tell us all of them were approved, 185. With that, then we're gonna be able to see at the beginning in dashboard that we are gonna have invoices owed to you, to us, the total amount of invoices, and the total amount of money, because every invoice has an overdue of the same date of the invoice. So this is later on what we need to do, is to reconcile all these cells with the bank accounts, credit that we call Erste Bank, cash payments, all the money that we received by cash, and the new account we need to create for Representación. So everything that we got on Representación that got paid, and the things that still didn't got paid. So we can have a follow-up, or which is the items that we are owed in money. And that's it, pretty much. That's all we have to do to be able to have the sales for our companies. We could do this every week. Probably that would be more than enough to have it as up to date as possible. See you in the next one.